Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Apurva.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Apurva Project Officer, on behalf of City University, would like to take pleasure to invite Ms. Manmeet Kukreja is currently working as Assistant Professor at Mittal School of Business, Lovely Professional University. Having 5.5 years of industry experience in sales and marketing in electrical industry, product management marketing, corporate sales and vendor management, and having academic career of 10 plus years as assistant professor with teaching experience of design thinking, entrepreneurship, marketing, and international business courses. Ma'am, I would like to hand over the session to you.
Thank you so much, Apurva, and thank you for the nice introduction. I first
Thank you.
like to thanks Mr. Ati Priye, Director, Planning and Development, City University, and Dr. Nikhil Munga, Assistant Dean and Professor, City University, for providing me an opportunity to have this session. And I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so shall I start with the session, if you allow?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so I will be taking you across the topic, obviously, for today's problem solving and ideation workshop. And the flow of the presentation would be to understand the process of idea creation and understand the various steps of ideation framework. And it should be a two-way session. So if anybody has any query, please ask me to stop and have the clarity, right? And so that we can have an interactive session. Okay, so let us start with the power of idea. Why we are talking about the problem solving and ideation workshop. So if we talk about the companies, like the great companies that once started, they all started with not the great idea, but they all started with a simple idea. Like if we talk about the companies like Amazon, right? So it started with a simple thought of how we can make the available books, which are generally offline, to online, so that there could be the readers who can avail it. If we talk about the company Uber, they started with a simple thought of how can I provide the limo, which is the luxury car, to everybody who wanted to avail it. If we talk about the Airbnb, started with a small thought of how can I arrange the rooms for the people who might be new to that place and they wanted to have an accommodation. And being an academician here, right, and from the last 10 years, I am also writing books. And, one of the book that I published recently with I will be telling you the topic, but just to tell you that I was able to sell thousands of the copies in no time. And can anybody guess what is the title of that book? It is written on the screen. It is an idea that can change your wife. Actually, there was a typological error, right? It is the somebody I was wishing to write life, an idea that can change your life, but this L was typed incorrectly and it was typed as an idea that can change your wife. So though it isn't humor, I'm just trying to start my presentation with some humor. It is, but the context I wanted to share is that if you are providing solution to a bigger problem, there are million of takers of it, right? So it is, are you solving the right problem? Are you solving the problem which is faced by you only, or are you trying to solve the problem which is faced by many? If we talk about this picture, right? This is a picture of Homo sapiens, right? And if you see the Homo sapiens, they are considered as the thinking humans. But if you see, it took thousands of years, right, to understand by the Homo sapiens that if I rub the two stones together, then it will be able to, lit the fire. And initially, the use of the fire was to protect ourselves from the from the darkness. First is to have the light during the night times or maybe the evening time when the visibility is not that great. And later, it took 100 more years to understand this temperature. The heat which I am producing is also be controlled and it can be converted into some useful item. That is, I can prepare the food, I can cook the food by rubbing the stone and having the fire. But if we talk about today's scenario, right, there is a fast transition. Like if I talk about virtual reality, augmented reality, IoT. So all these things happened in just 10 years. It is taking lesser time for the, you can say, the technology adaptation. But why it is so? How it is becoming so fast? If we talk about today, right, we see that all of the users, including if you see you yourself as a customer, so we have the power in our pockets, and it is a power in the form of the mobile, right, which help us to connect to anybody around the world. If we take this picture, which is a picture from the common village from India, right, one of the villages from India, where you see the women, they are carrying the picture on their heads. Can anybody tell me why they're carrying the picture? What all they are trying to do? What all they are trying to do with the picture? I hope you are able to see that.
Yes, ma'am.
So they are trying to carry the water, right? They are arranging the commodity which they used to collect every day by walking miles, maybe 10 to 15 kilometers. They are walking every day, right? And that too, they have to walk multiple times to get this commodity, which is water. What could be the challenges faced by these women? Obviously, they are carrying the picture on their head. They have to walk, say, 20 to 50, 20 to 30 kilometers every day to get this commodity. If we see, obviously, when they are walking so much, so they have to face health issues because they are carrying this heavy water on their head. Obviously, that will lead to some impact on their health. Also, if you see, apart from health, they are not able to give quality time to their children because most of the time or half of the day after completing their house chores, they are using that time for collecting that commodity, which is water, right? So they are not able to give good time to their children. Also, if there are girl childs at home, so maybe they are not involved in, you can say, doing anything else, but they are asked to support their mother to get the water for their family so that the mother has to travel less. So that girl could not have the education, or she could not avail the education because she also has to assist the family for getting the water. And if we see the half of the demographic profile of India, which is women, they are not able to contribute to the economy. Or maybe you can say especially the rural women, they are not able to contribute to the economy because they have to bring this water for their family. But thankfully, there is a company, Velo, right, which developed this water wheel, which come as a rescue for these women. Like if you see, this is developed by Cynthia Going, and this the water wheel that you can see on the picture that the female is carrying, right? It is a rotating water wheel, right? So it can carry around 50 liters of water, which you don't need to carry on your head. You just roll it down, right? And then it is also equally good in the rough terrains, right? And it is also available at a very economical price. So if you see this, how this Eureka movement comes to our life and where we identify the idea which is meaningful, the idea which is required by many, the idea which is feasible. We always try to focus on the word which we can see in terms of time and space. But there is more powerful word that is available to us. That is the inner word. How many of us do this epiphany? Epiphany basically is that when we are trying to look ourselves boldly inside, at what is all that I have been through in all this life. Maybe few of you might be much younger than me. Maybe you are 17, 18, or maybe some are older. So whatever the time span you had spent on this earth, if you can just look at that, what kind of life you have spent, what are the experiences you have gained, what kind of products that you have used, and still what are the problems which you are facing in your life. Maybe if you just look at that, maybe you will be able to identify the gap, and you will be able to see the gap which might not be existing for others. So it is, the first thing is the epiphany, which means boldly looking inside yourself and looking at what the things which you wanted to solve, or maybe you are not happy with, and then you wanted to solve it for yourself first and for maybe for others. Then there is an equally important outer word, which is serendipity, right? It means connecting with the ecosystem where we are belonging to. It means observing that what is all around you. Maybe if you are, traveling, and you find a person who is, you can say, not able, like maybe the beggars on the road, right? And maybe you find an opportunity that why can't I provide a job to these beggars so that they can have a decent livelihood, right? So that could be an observation. Maybe you are the one who are able to observe it. Others also may have seen them, but you find a different viewpoint and then you provide a solution to it. So that is a Eureka moment. How the companies start is the steps for getting the idea is to first ask the questions. As many as questions which will help you to collect the information or gather the information more and more, where you are able to identify the problem, or in turn you are able to identify the gap. Like if I talk about few questions, so it could be that what is the pain point I am trying to solve? Is there any pain point which is existing? Is it there any problem which is existing? If yes, then how big is that pain point? Like if you see, even there are thousands of apps which are available on the Play Store, right? They are offered it for free. But even they're free, we are not downloading all the apps. The reason being is that I am not finding the utility in any of those, or maybe few of those I'm not finding any utility, right? So it means till the time I am providing a solution to the users who are finding something which is missing in their life, I may not be providing a good product which is of for their use. So there should be a pain point for the customers. There should be someone whom I am trying to solve the problem. It means that there should be some takers of the solution. It means there should be identifiable customer target customers, right? Whom problem I am wanting to solve. How I am trying to solve this problem. Once I have identified that problem, means then I have to go further and say, okay, I will solve this problem, but how? What can be the features and services that I will be having so that it will solve the problem of the customer? And before I do that, before I end up, adding the features and the services, let me also find it out that is there any competition who is also trying to solve the same problem? Or maybe they are solving it but maybe some differently. So do I have the point of differences? Do I have something which is different to offer? Does my services are just a me too products, or am I doing something which is different from others? Then if it is different, then do I have that much, you can say authority to ask my customer to pay for it? Because otherwise I will be just providing everything for free, right? And everything for free maybe is not helping me to gain any revenues, right? So it is, am I able to charge for the solution of for the customers also? If yes, then the answer is that I should be going up with that idea. Like if you talk about the company, like if you see this, he is Mr. Bhavish Agarwal. He's the founder of Ola Cabs. Bhavish, when he was doing his course in IIT, right, and he came up with some situation in his during his course, and he was in a hostel when he was doing his course. And during the weekends, he has nowhere to go because he was because he was a hostler, and I guess many of you would be the hostler. And he thought that, there is an opportunity for me, because we can I if I wanted to go to some of the nearby places and explore the nearby places, maybe because I am not from this place, there could be other students also who would like to explore the place also. So he started his first company, Ola Trips, when he was a student, and that was the weekend holidays online, right? So it is a solution to a problem which he was facing, that and where he find the opportunity. And later on we see that he converted the company to Ola Cabs, and we see that rest is history. And there are so many solutions that this company is providing to the ecosystem in terms of electric vehicles and now the scooters, right? And so many, right, without owning a single vehicle. Now if we see the steps for idea generation, the steps for idea generation are: first of all, we should be having a lot of ideas, and that we can gather from anywhere. Like it could be from my life experiences, it could be from if I am walking on the road, it could be if I am having a dinner at a restaurant, right? So I should be collecting the ideas. And if you know, like during the COVID, right, we recently all faced the COVID, right? And it was, you can say, a deadly situation. And I pray that such things should not come again. But for India, if you see, this COVID has changed the world, right? It's according to the McKinsey report, right? The kind of development has taken place in India in terms of adopting digital platforms, right? This was assumed, or it was predicted, that this could happen in next 4 to 10 years. And that happened in just 15 days, and that too hassle free. Many of us started working from home because of we could not go out, or many of the vendors who were selling the products offline, they have to bring their solution, or they have to become all available online also. So it is collecting the ideas wherever you are moving, whatever situations you are facing. Either you are, doing your normal house chores, or you are at the professional setup. You have to collect the ideas. You have to think about, ideas or the problems which are all around. But you should not stop over there, because thinking will not lead to anything. The first thing is I need to scribble the ideas. When I say scribbling ideas, it means you need to write those ideas. Because when I write those ideas, I have a critical point of view of it. It means that I am maybe criticizing my own idea, or I am putting a thought to any figure which I am writing, right? If even it is a market size, maybe that is I have to do the calculations. And that's how scribbling of the ideas is very much necessary. It will help you to have the proper orientation. It will help you to have a proper set of thoughts, or align your thoughts properly, so that you can say align, and you can frame your ideas properly. The next thing is observation of the customers. The customers, you may be choosing in any industry, but it is, you have to observe that how the customers who are using the type of the products which you are trying to launch, or the services you are trying to launch, what are they missing in their lives. It's not about you that you are missing, but at the large, first maybe it could be you, but at the large you have to see that the customers who might be looking for your solution or services, what kind of problems which are still unobserved, you can say not unobserved, get unobserved by the competitors. So which if you observe, maybe you are able to provide a better solution to this. And maybe you will be able to empathize with the customer. You will be able to find the pain points of the customers, because you are keeping yourself in the shoes of the customers, and you are trying to understand that what is that which is still the customer is facing in his life. The fourth step here is to pursue your idea, because many a times, when we are studying like in the universities, right, we just are busy with so many things, right? And we have to get a good CGPA also, I have to attend the guest lecture like this also, and maybe I have to attend many other things. I have to go to a friend and do the things, right? But thing is, how many of us love what we do? And if we love what we do, there is hardly a time, which is we don't find any excuse of not working on that idea. Like the Steve Jobs, the famous quote for Steve Jobs is, "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work." And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So if you are loving that idea, or if you are loving to solve the problems, if you love to connect the dots, if you love to make the perspectives, do something new, and then you will find time for it. So it is to pursue your idea rather than stop thinking about it. The next thing is sharing the ideas, because once we get the idea, we always feel skeptical. If I have shared with somebody, my friend or my colleague, right, or somebody else, then they will take it from me, right? They will copy that idea. But how many of us are watching the Shark Tank? How many of us watch Shark Tank? Anybody of us watch Shark Tanks? They are the founders of the big companies or the startups. They are coming and they are praising their, you can say, funds for their company, right? And if that would be the reality, that if you share the idea, your idea could be copied. So they are telling all the details about their company. They are telling of all the details that in terms of the cost which they are incurring. They are telling the strategies of their company. They are sharing with you the kind of, you can say, revenues and the margins they are making. But their business is growing. So I think we are all living in a myth that if I share my idea with the others, they will copy it. Whatever hard work you have done, whatever the, you can say, intensity of the work that you have done for your idea, might be your friend doesn't have that much capability of doing that. Why can't we trust ourselves? And the second thing which I found, especially in the when we have the idea, what we think is, okay, I am a management student or I am a CSC guy. Is there anybody who would like to ask question? Is there somebody who wanted to ask question? Okay, maybe some. Okay. So whenever we have idea, what we think is that if I'm a management guy or if an IMT guy, right? So maybe I should be speaking to the people who are having the specialization similar to me, right? But it is not going to work like that. Maybe if I am developing a solution, IT solution for the doctors, then I have to speak to somebody who is working in that field, or maybe. Okay, may I request ma'am to unmute the audience if they do not have the question?
Sir, please mute the audience.
Okay, so it is
Sir,
that
ma'am, you can continue now.
yeah. Uh, so we have to share the ideas, maybe interdisciplinary sharing of the ideas that will help us to have gain the perspectives from different people who might not be of the same domain, but they can give us the insights to improve our products or services. The next thing is to keep ourselves ready in terms of that, okay, if one thing doesn't fall into place, I do not have to stop, because the world won't end if that thing has not taken place. Like in COVID, we cannot go outside. So there is always a plan B, which might be also kept as a backup, right? So that we can quickly switch to it. If the one thing is not working, maybe I should try the another thing which would work. Then is to develop your idea. When I say develop your idea, means nurture your idea. Every day you have to put some insights, better data, more filtering, more focusing on it, right? Maybe in terms of, if I have the idea, can I just show the concept to the customers? Can I get the feedback from the customer? Let me validate the idea from the customers or from the market. Or maybe next is, you keep on growing that idea rather than keeping it with you, because it is, you're not going to go anywhere if you're just keeping it with you. So it is nurturing your idea by giving the thoughts to it every day and working for it. And last and the most important thing is to release the idea. Release the idea means, because what we do is we don't trust ourselves. We think that, okay, now, I will do it once this COVID is over. I will do it when this is over, right? And mind you, if there are companies who might have waited for COVID to end, I don't know how many of us know that we got the 101 companies as unicorn during the COVID. And the 101 company that got unicorn, that is, unicorn is a company which is having a 1 billion of the revenues. And recently we got Physics Wala as a company which became the 101 company to become this unicorn. And he started with a simple thought of making the education feasible, or you can say affordable for all. And you see that how this Physics Wala, how in a short time he has able to establish his company, and he's now a unicorn company. So basically is to trust ourselves and to release our idea, to launch our idea rather than waiting for the right time. So what we need to do, how we need to identify which ideas are valuable. So the first thing is we have to take the consideration, we have to look at the three aspects of it. The first aspect is that solution possible for me to execute? Like if I'm developing an app, or if I'm providing a solution online, is that technology is available to me? Or if I am making a product which is using technology, that technology might be available in other countries, but for me to serve my customer, is that technology available? Like if you see electric vehicles, they are available in other parts of the world, right? US, China, they are already having a proper setup for it. But India is in the initial stage, right? And we are just testing the vehicles. We are just, doing strategic alliances to form the battery, and we will be soon will be able to see successfully running these electric vehicles on the road. But that is technology adoption, which will take some time. So it is the technology, that is it available right now to provide a solution to the customer? Second thing, it is possible to make it, but are there customers who are willing to buy? Would they be customers for my product or my ideas who will be willing to pay me the price of it? If these two things happen, then obviously the third will be tick, means that I will be able to get the business, I will be able to do the business, which will help me to successfully get the revenues, right? And the profits eventually. So again, when I am deciding on my idea, I have to think in these three dimensions. One is feasibility, that is the idea viable? Can I execute that idea? Are there takers of the product? Second, is it valuable for my customer? Is it solving some problem? Is it giving some set of benefits versus cost? Whatever the cost the customer is incurring to get my product, am I doing some value addition in his life? Is he getting some more benefits? Whatever the problems he was facing by using the competitor's product, is he able to switch to my product because what he thinks is my product will be able to solve the problem of which the competitor product is not able to solve? Usable, is my product or service is easy to use? Is he able to find it convenient to use? Is he getting less trouble while he's using that product? So that is making it to be a usability. I will be quickly taking you to the ideation from a framework which is developed by Occult Company. So basically it has series of processes or series of steps which help us to take from idea to the product. Because what I believe is solving a problem is to be done by providing a solution, but how to not to jump directly on the solution, but to work in a particular process, following a particular process which will help us to get more insights while we are developing the solution, right? So the first step to the ideation, suppose like, because I am a comedian, because and my thoughts revolve around the profession which I am doing. So maybe you can also choose the, you can say, the kind of solutions which where you find your expertise at. So my myself was trying to develop an app for the students, because what I feel that the students basically they are not able to get good CGPA in graduation. And what I feel, why they are not able to get it, because it's not because that they are lacking intelligence, but because they have never gained the academic habits they ever needed. So, like if I see whatever problem I'm trying to solve, I have to just, like if I'm, for this case, suppose I'm trying to develop a app for the students to improve their learning habits or to improve their study habits, I have to first have a clear idea that what is the problem I am trying to solve. And I do not have to write paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs to define that problem. It should be crisp, it should be clear in my head, and it should be something which is which we should be encouraging me to, work on it. And it could be for a particular set of target customer whose need I am trying to solve. So for this case, I am taking the target customer as students who might be doing the management course, or maybe they are doing some computer engineering course, whom you can say learning habits or study habits I wanted to improve through my app. Now, so here I am writing a problem statement. The problem statement is to that the students they are not able to gain the academic habits. Earlier, when they are at home, maybe they are having some parental guidance or the teachers, right? But when they come on their own, they might be using a certain, you can say, way of studying, and they might be the app where it can help the students to get that habit. So once I understood what is my problem, I will go to the next step. That is to get the inspiration. When I say getting the inspiration means observing that who are the competitors or who are the companies who might be providing the similar kind of solution. When I'm saying getting the inspiration, it doesn't mean that you need to copy all those things which they are doing. It is just giving you an idea to, maybe observe. You have to observe that what is there available in your ecosystem. What is that? There could be certain elements of it which you can borrow in your app or maybe in your product or services because they are good. And when I'm saying inspiration, it doesn't mean that you have to, you can say, just look at your industry only. You can look at any, generic industry, or maybe any anyone can inspire you, right? Maybe went to a website where you see that, the images are getting downloaded very seamlessly, and that is why, or it is the payment which you are trying to do, it's like happening in no time, and that is adding the convenience for you. So it could be an inspiration for you. Or you may see that, there are auto filling of the information of the customer, and so it is requiring lesser time, and that maybe that is what you are looking for. So inspiration can come from anywhere. It can come from directly from the companies which are serving the same problem, or it could be coming from the competitors, or it may be coming from the companies which are from different industries also. Once I have those inspiration with me, it means, like if I say, in my case, it could be an academy, it could be the Coursera who might be providing, some sort of services, similar kind of services, right? Who are trying to provide some information, knowledge to the students, right? So I may get few features from that and develop my app. Once I have taken a view of it, the step 3 is to go for customer definition. What is customer definition? Customer definition means to identify clearly that who is your customer. And you have to identify minimum 2 to 3 target customers. When I'm saying 2 to 3, why? Because whenever we, like to offer the solution, we say, I am trying to solve the problem of everybody. Anybody who is looking for a particular, product can purchase it. That is the wrong thing that we do. Because if I'm trying to sell to everybody, then it is for sure that nobody will buy. But if I'm sure and if I know that who can buy my product, I will be able to understand that customer better and able to solve your problems. So please, this is my request. Do not solve the problem of everybody. Try to find out somebody whose pain is that big that you can solve it with your products and services. Who would be the primary customers, means the early adopters who will be finding the value in your idea or the product which you are trying to introduce, or the solution which you are trying to develop. So that customer definition is very, very important, that who is the target customer, whose problem you are trying to solve. So maybe that in my case, when I'm developing an app for the students, so I'm specifically developing the app for the management students. And for me, the customers, the students there should be an initial requirement that they should be having their smartphones. Once I have understood that who is my customer or the target segments which I wanted to serve, the next thing is talking about the personas. When I say what is persona is something which is helping me to understand my customer better. As if I am looking at the customer eye to eye, I can see that customer, who is he? What is the lifestyle they carry? What are the kind of attitudes they have? What is the value system they are having? What is the kind of demographic profile they have? What is the age of that customer? What he is doing, right? What are the career plans? What are the goals of that customer? What kind of problems they are facing in their life, which is causing a frustration? Like if I see, for my case, when I'm developing the app, so when I'm doing it for the graduate students, so I know that okay, they might be in the age of 18 to 19 years. They might be the students who are getting good CGPA, and maybe that they are their background would be that they are owning a smartphone, or maybe they are well versed with the technology. They are doing their homework properly. They are doing it regularly. They're taking the notes and they're paying attention to the class. But the frustration is that they, whatever they do, they think that they are not getting enough grades, what they deserve, and they do not know how to get a better grade through studying. So what is the goal which they wanted to achieve is they wanted to keep track of the homework assignments on their phone, and they wanted to do well in their class. So I am clear about that, what is my target customer pain points are, what they wanted to achieve in their life, and what are the problems or the frustrations that they might be facing. Then once I am able to identify that, then we have to go for the next step. That is a user narrative. What is user narrative? Basically, it is identifying the incidences which are happening in the life of your customer, which will make him or her think about your product or your services. It could be that something bad happened or something good happened. What is that it is happening in the life of the customer, which is making them think about your product? Like if I say, I take an example of a student who is maybe doing a marketing management, might be attending a marketing management class, and maybe that the faculty who is teaching that course, she announced that there would be a test for, say, segmentation, targeting, and positioning in the next week. So now he knows that he has to prepare for the test. He has to score good for the test. So he opens the app and he added the test which will help him to perform through the my app, which will help him to you can say have the accuracy, have the practice, and they will be able, and maybe that they can also watch the videos related to the segmentation, targeting, and positioning, which will help them to prepare for the course. And later on, they can choose to select the test where they can check the accuracy and the speed, right? So it is user narrative. It is helping you to have the customer journey in front of you, that what is that is would happen in his life that might be helping him to think about your products and services. Then the next step, once you are able to find what the customer's pain points are, who is your customer, then you have to design your paper prototype, because developing the right, the kind of product, the main product, or maybe the last product, maybe the product which you wanted to offer, could be quite expensive. So first is that you can get some insights that whether I'm thinking the right direction or not without spending much. So you can, develop in paper prototype at the initial stages where you draw it, all the those things which you are thinking in the form of the visual stories. Like if you see, so this is a paper prototype which I may be making it for the app. For my app, where I will be saying that okay, in the left hand side of the screen, they will be selecting the topics. Then in the once there will be a drop down list where they will be working on the, you can say, what they will be choosing in a particular day or a particular week, and accordingly they will be preparing for it. I may choose to have low fidelity or the high fidelity prototyping. When I say fidelity is like it is, when I say the left side, it says low fidelity, means that I will be providing the basic information that okay, what all products and features or the services they can have, how I will be classifying the information, how I will be putting up into the different heads. Then when I say medium, it would be some better version of it. And if I see the high fidelity, there it is, maybe I am also choosing the color. It is advisable if you are, at the stage when we are trying to get the feedback from the customers, and better is to show them this low fidelity kind of prototypes. Why I'm saying so? Because whenever you show the, you can say, all the features, all the, you can say, colorful things, maybe you get the feedback more about the color and other superficial things rather than the real, you can say, features of it. So it is important to have a rest, you can say, low fidelity at the, concept stage when you are trying to validate your idea and get the feedback about your products and service. Right. So it is, prototyping is important. Investing time in prototyping, thinking about the products and features, what all services you can provide, that is important. So that is all. I think because of I had a limited time, I thought that this framework will help all of us to get streamline our thoughts about on this problem solving and idea. So if you have any questions, you are more welcome to ask. I will be happy to, uh, you can say, have them on the board. Over to Apurva, ma'am. Anybody has any query? And if anybody has any question, they can unmute yourself, or you may put the question on the chat box. I will be happy to answer. I know it's a lunch time. I'm taking your lunch time. And so I think you are busy since morning, and all wanted to have lunch. So I thought of keeping it concise so that, it will be a good way to have this session. Anybody would like to ask any question, any sort of question? Or else we can conclude. The main objective for mine, sharing all this is, we keep on waiting that and keep on not trusting on ourselves, right? So I'm working as an e-coach here also, and just to brief you, so e-coach means entrepreneurship coach. So I am assisting the students who want to, start their own ventures. So where this problem solving and ideation, like it's part of my life also. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful session. And I do share your contact details with students if there are any case of any queries. And for this, for your assistance also, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you. No issues. You're most welcome.
Students, do you have any questions?
Okay, I think we can wind up the session, I guess, because they are feeling more hungry. There is a lunch time which I might be using, so they might be hungry.
So thank you, ma'am. And I request IT sir to please share the word of appreciation. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time with us and for our students.
Thank you so much
With
for
a small
inviting me.
token of love from City University.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for inviting me, and let's have such sessions in the future also.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. So may I leave the meeting then?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you all of you for the patient listening to my session. Thank you.
Welcome.